Hi everyone, welcome. Thank you for joining today's session. My name is Isabel. I am an event planner for the Reactor, joining you live from Sydney, Australia. Before we begin, we have a quick housekeeping. Take a moment to read our code of conduct. We are committed to fostering a welcoming, inclusive, and supportive environment for both our audience and presenters. While we absolutely encourage engagement in the chat, please let's keep our comments respectful and constructive throughout the session. Drop your questions in the chat. We'll be keeping an eye out for questions throughout the session for the presenters and answering live. Our session is being recorded and will be available to view on demand within 24 to 48 hours right here on the Reactor YouTube channel. Without further ado, let's give a warm virtual round of applause to our incredible guests. Take it away, guys.
Great. Okay. Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining our session today. We are thrilled to have you here as we dive into one of the key concepts in Data Factory in Microsoft Fabric. Over the next hour, we'll take you through deep dive into Dataflows Gen2 in Data Factory in Fabric, sharing insights and best practices along the way. Just wait for the slide to come up here. Yep. Great. Okay. Let's move on to the agenda slide. Okay. So let's take a look at today's agenda. Our goal is actually to guide you on a journey from having no prior knowledge of Data Factory in Fabric and Dataflows to a deep dive into the capabilities of Dataflows Gen2. We'll be showcasing several demos to highlight these capabilities in action. If you're already familiar with Dataflows Gen2 and Data Factory, you might be wondering what's in it for you, right? To keep things exciting, we have some sneak peek of upcoming roadmap features towards the end of the session. Additionally, if you've been using earlier generations of data flows, such as Power BI data flows, we will explore different upgrade options so you can take advantage of the latest enhancement of Gen 2. Let's move forward. Yeah. Okay, so let's dive in, right? If you've attended the previous sessions of Fabric and Data Factory, you might have seen the slide before. So what is Microsoft Fabric? As many of you may already know, Microsoft Fabric is a unified data platform designed for AI-driven data transformation, right? It brings together a comprehensive data foundation that deeply integrates data integration, data engineering, data warehousing, data science, real-time intelligence, and Power BI. At its core, it's all built on OneLake, our AI-powered data lake, and governed by Microsoft Purview. I like to compare Microsoft Fabric to Microsoft Office. Let's think about Office, right? It's a suite of productivity tools like Word, PowerPoint, Excel. Each of these applications is actually designed for a specific purpose, right? Whether it's writing a document, creating a presentation, or building a spreadsheet. But despite different purposes, they all share a common user experience. You have the same spell check, you are going to format, or the formatting options remains the same. The way that you do copy paste remains the same. They also share the foundation layer of governance, storage, and collaboration. Now, apply the same concept with Microsoft Fabric, right? Instead of productivity tools, Fabric is a suite of analytical tools. Instead of writing documents or making spreadsheets, you are integrating data, building data warehouses, analyzing insights in Power BI. Each of this tool is optimized for a specific task while sharing a common elements, like how you connect to data, manage artifacts in workspaces, and then move through different stages from your dev to your prod altogether, right? On top of that, everything runs on a unified platform, meaning security, compliance, storage, governance, they're all managed centrally. This allows for seamless collaboration and ensures you can govern your entire data ecosystem within a single product. That's Microsoft Fabric for you, right? Let's move to the next slide. Yeah. So today, our focus is on one of the key services in Microsoft Fabric, which is Data Factory. And within Data Factory, we'll deep dive into Dataflows Gen2. Yeah. But what's Fabric Data Factory, right? Fabric Data Factory is actually built on the unification of two powerful technologies, as we know, right? One is the Azure Data Factory, which provides a pro data integration capabilities on Azure. And the other one is the Power Query, a self-service data preparation tool embedded in Power BI, Excel, Dynamic, and Power Platform. By bringing these two together, we've created an integrated SaaS platform that supports both low-code and a pro-code approach to your data integration needs. Fabric Data Factory is also AI-powered through Copilot and seamlessly integrates open-source data integration frameworks, making it flexible and scalable solution for diverse data needs. Let's go to the next slide. Yeah. Now, let's take a look at how Data Factory delivers all the critical data integration capabilities, right? Data Factory offers best-in-class connectivity with hundreds of connectors to business-critical data sources. No matter where your data resides, right? It could be on-premises or in the cloud or even behind virtual networks and firewall. Data Factory ensures seamless access to these data sources. It also enables petabyte scale data movement, leveraging Data Factory's proven capabilities, which are responsible for transferring hundreds of petabytes of data every month. Beyond data movement, we also have the Data Factory also provides powerful orchestration capabilities built on Azure Data Factory's industry-leading workflow that executes tens of billions of orchestration per month. And when it comes to data transformation, we'll be actually looking at Dataflows Gen2 in deep dive. Again, it delivers a low-code data preparation experience while leveraging Fabric enterprise-scale compute engines for seamless processing. Additionally, deployment, DevOps, observability are all built in, ensuring that Data Factory provides a comprehensive data management and integration platform. And of course, Data Factory is again built on top of OneLake with AI capabilities seamlessly integrated, making it a robust and intelligent solution for modern data integration. Let's move to the next slide. Okay, so here let me introduce and highlight some of the key components that you'll find in Data Factory and Microsoft Fabric, right? So when you are actually into the Data Factory experience, or now when you actually kind of like get started, you'll see several essential capabilities in Microsoft Fabric, right? That is related to Data Factory. The data pipelines, which help you orchestrate your end-to-end data integration flows. The Dataflows Gen2 lets you prepare, clean, and transform your data efficiently. In today's session, like I said, we'll focus primarily on this. Mirror database, a feature that allows you to seamlessly replicate your existing data sources into OneLake, keeping everything in sync. Copy jobs, a 5x5 data movement artifact, which helps you to move data quickly and efficiently across different sources and destination. Apache Airflow job for customers who prefer code-first approach. Data Factory provides a native support for Apache Airflow for data orchestration. And the Data Factory artifact, which enables you to kind of like connect and reuse your existing Data Factory investments that you've made, your resources and ADF already, bringing that into within Fabric, right? So these are the items in Microsoft Fabric related to Data Factory, right? These actually help, these are powerful capabilities that offer you to streamline your data integration workflows with many more features that are designed to enhance productivity and efficiency. Now with that, I will hand this over to Yaran, who will take us on a deep dive into Dataflows Gen2 and its capabilities. Over to you, Yaran.
I had to unmute there. Thank you, Krishna. Let's go have a deep dive into Dataflows Gen2. Today we'll be walking over a couple of key features for Dataflows Gen2, and afterwards we probably have some time after all the deck is over for some questions, and based on the questions we can maybe do some live demos on some of the features that we have showcased or things you're just interested in. So Dataflows Gen2, what it comes down to is that it's a list of connectors coming together in a product that then brings all the data to your lake, to your warehouse, or to your anywhere within Fabric, and we're expanding that as we speak. So today, Dataflows Gen2 has a rich connectivity set, about 170 plus data sources. It all the way goes from your SharePoint connections to your Oracle database or SAP. We have it extended with a hybrid and on-prem connectivity with the VNet gateway or the on-premise data gateway that you can use for connecting to your on-premise data without too much hassle, right? So nobody wants to open ports or connect your stuff directly to the internet. You have this gateway in between that ensures your security as well as your accessibility within the whole organization. Then looking at the transformation section for Dataflows Gen2, there are a couple of exciting things that we have there. Is that it's easy to use. Dataflows Gen2 is easy to use. We have a ribbon-like experience, just like in Excel. You have, I want to multiply this column. I want to divide this column by the other column, or I want to apply AI features on top of it. There is some AI-infused options within the Power Query editor that allows you to make some smart decisions or fuzzy merging and that kind of stuff. But in total, we're counting over 300 plus transformations. And now also with Dataflows Gen2 to allow you to write that output of that transformation to any destination you like. So today we support SQL-based destinations as well as a couple of event-based destinations. So within Fabric, we support Lakehouse, Warehouse, and within Fabric, the Event House, we support today as well, allowing you to write that data out there and store it on for long-term storage or for actually doing your analysis with Power BI reporting with the integrated lake option. Then we are going to have a look at how to create a data flow. So this is the experience you will have when you are within the Fabric workspace or your Power BI workspace, and you can actually start to create your Dataflows Gen2 directly from
we
your
have the
workspace.
homepage of Data Factory in Fabric. Let's start by creating a data flow. Users who are familiar with Power Query will appreciate the familiarity of the low-code yet customizable experience. With over 170 connectors, you can get data from many sources. As you can see here, I have already imported my two tables, my orders table and my products table from my worldwide importer SQL database. Along with the two tables I brought in, I have a customer's Excel file that I have on my file system that I would like to bring in. I am just going to drag and drop the file into my editor. Immediately, I am brought to the Connect to a New Data Source page, where I can see that my customer's file has been uploaded. Data Preview allows me to see my data before selecting the data to clean and transform. Now that I have brought in my data, I'm ready to transform data at high scale. Along with altering columns and rows, I can also merge and append queries. Let me first start by merging my customers and orders query. I can specify the queries I want to merge, along with the column I want to merge on. Now, I can see a new query with all the columns from my customers table and one column with the nested data from the orders table. Along with merging and appending queries, I can also transform the data using group by. Group by allows me to group rows in my query based on the values in the selected column. For this example, I will group by the related titles for each customer. Now we can see that a new transformation has been made to the query, showcasing our new output. With Dataflows, you can set your output destination to store your transformed data. In this example, I will write the results to a table in a data warehouse. Let's put in the server and connection credentials to my data warehouse. I will choose a destination target and give the table a name. I will leave the default as replace, essentially meaning that any tables with the same name will be replaced in my warehouse. I will quickly rename my data flow to Contoso Data Flow, and then I can publish it. And with that, my data
flow is now posted within my workspace. Cool.
Here, we have the homepage of Data Factory in Fabric. Let's start by creating a data flow. Here, we have the homepage of Data Factory in Fabric.
There we go. All right, cool. So this is a short introduction of how to get started with Dataflows Gen2 right away from your Fabric workspace. Again, if customers or if you like to know more about this experience, we can do a demo all the way in the end and do a step-by-step with questions that you may have around the experience. But one thing we want to highlight is a couple of key features for Dataflows Gen2 compared to Dataflows Gen1 that you may be already familiar with, and how to use them in your advantage. So one concept is Dataflows Gen2 staging. And what staging actually does is that we have in the backend have a SQL database and a warehouse running for your Dataflows Gen2. We try to leverage those compute instances to our benefit to allow you to have more performance on big scale data. So if you have millions and millions and millions of rows and you want to do a group by on them, it's way more efficient to do that on the backend in SQL than to do that in memory. So Dataflows Gen2 would otherwise do that in memory. That's way big of a thing to do. And so what you can do is per query, you can say if the result of the query needs to be staged. So what you say in that instance is that if I look at this query and I have a query referencing this query. So if you look down here, is that, for example, this query is referencing this query. If this query is enabled on staging, that means that the result of that query is stored in the SQL database, and the other query can just use a SQL query to group by the data, filter that data, and use the enhanced compute engine on the SQL engine to actually get better performance than doing it all in memory. So that's the crux of staging and why it's so important to enable it and also disable it if you don't need it, right? So if you have a pipeline where you almost do no transformation at all, it's actually a burden to have this additional staging in your pipeline. So in those cases, it's advised to turn it off. We'll be soon following up with a lot more documentation on the concept of staging and how to improve your performance overall. But this is one of those key concepts you can apply to get better performance. Yeah, and over here you can actually see the concept working real time. So you have here your data sources. This is the measure engine. That's the measure engine that the Dataflow runs. And then we have the lakehouse and warehouse down beneath here that we use for compute. So so the Dataflow engine is actually sending data to the lakehouse and then uses a SQL query to actually get results back and load it back into memory by using the reference query, like I just mentioned. Again, if you want to know more about this, we can do a deeper dive at the end of the session. Fast copy. Fast copy is another beautiful concept we introduced within Dataflows. Fast copy, what we're doing is that originally the Dataflow and the Power Query engine is actually extracting the data from the data source and loading it into memory or into the staging area, like we just talked about. But we also introduced a new concept, and that's fast copy. And fast copy is what it actually does is that it's using a data pipeline, a Fabric data pipeline, to move data with a copy activity. So if you're familiar with the copy activity, it's a highly optimized way of copying a lot of data at once. It's very performance orientated rather than transformation orientated. So what we do, we call in the backend, we call a data pipeline to move that data from data lake storage or from your SQL server to store it in the staging area right away with fast copy. Then at that point, the Dataflow engine can talk to the data via SQL, transform it with the SQL statement, and write the output right away to your warehouse or your lakehouse within Fabric. So you can see that we are trying to combine all the best in-class options we have available on the Fabric platform into one single product called Dataflow. It's combining the best of a pipeline, it's combining the best of with the gateways, how to combine with that, and it combines the lakehouse and warehouse for the compute for Dataflows to be as fast and as easy to use as possible. So it's combining those concepts all together into a nice UX interface without not too much hassle of thinking about developing the Dataflow. Now we're going to have a short look at this demo.
Hey everyone, in this demo I will be showing some tips and tricks on how you can leverage new capabilities like fast copy to make your Dataflows Gen2 more performant. Let's take this example where a customer already has an existing Dataflows Gen2 that is processing 22 gigabytes of data. The refresh takes almost 2 hours to complete. Let me show you how you can leverage fast copy and some query optimization techniques to improve this refresh time. First, I'll allow the use of fast copy connectors. This will leverage the powerful copy activity from pipelines to copy my data into the Fabric One Lake. For my more complex data transformations, I want to leverage the Fabric compute. To leverage this, I have to stage my data first into the Fabric One Lake. This is easy. All I have to do is enable staging and reference my query. Now I can start applying all my complex transformations and compute those transformations at scale. In this example, I will be reapplying the exact same step as I previously had. This will be a group by that takes a lot of compute to calculate. Lastly, since I split my query into two, I need to reapply my data destination. I am picking the same lakehouse again. All I have to do is just pick the lakehouse from the navigator, create a new table, and I'm going to use append as my update method. Then I will publish my data flow. And if you open the refresh history, you can now see that it only took 10 minutes to process the exact same 22 gigabytes of data with the exact same transformation as before. But now it does it much, much, much faster. Thank you everyone for watching this demo.
Isn't that cool? It basically reduced it by 100 or 1,000%. It's insane how much faster it can be with fast copy and especially the staging points enabled. And now looking at the last part of this demo you've just seen is that with data destinations, you can now write it also to specific output destinations. So looking at Fabric Lakehouse, Fabric Warehouse, Fabric SQL databases, Fabric's Event House, the Azure SQL databases, and Synapse Analytics. And we support operations like replace and append to load your data into data destination, but that's not all. As you are familiar with Dataflows Gen2 or Gen1, we had a concept called incremental refresh. And what it allows you to do is only load the data that you actually need in your data destination. So if you have incrementally coming in new orders, you don't want to refresh all the orders all the time. You only want to load in the new orders that have come in since the last time of processing your data. So we introduced a concept called incremental refresh again in Dataflows Gen2, changed the terminology a bit, which fit more with the overall way of working. And we have extensive documentation of how this feature works as well. But what it essentially does is that you provide a datetime date or datetime or datetime zone column to filter by. One of the limitations of the previous version that we only supported dates, but now we support all the variations of datetime. Then the number or the window of data that you want to iterate over. So every refresh, we look back X number of weeks, right? So if you have done a full refresh in the past and you're now enabling incremental refresh, you can say, I just want to refresh the last 2 weeks every time, because I know the last 2 weeks of data will probably shifting a lot with new orders coming in, or if for some reason processing stopped for a while and then a lot of data comes in at once. Let's keep it safe, put 2 weeks of data to refresh every day. And then you determine the bucket size. And the bucket size is just like a bucket. You go to a lake. If you have very big buckets, that lake is quickly very empty. But if you have small buckets, you need a lot of buckets, but smaller workloads all the time. And here you can say, I want to have bucket size of year, month, week, quarter, or day. And in case you're working with 2 weeks of data, you probably want to keep it to probably 2 weeks of or 1 day bucket size. So with that 1 day of bucket size, you can extract the data for 1 day at a time and then combine it all back into the data destination. If for some reason incremental refresh finds that there is no modified data for that bucket, it will not process it. So it will not ask the data source to provide the data for that bucket, but only get the data for the buckets that needs a refresh. Again, we have extensive documentations on this one to try to get you more involved in how the process works behind the scenes as well. And we really like feedback. It's currently public preview, and we want to get as much feedback in. And then with that, I think I hand it over to Aaron. Or, oh, no, not yet. Sorry, not yet. There's 2 more demos. There are 2 more demos. One demo is actually by example. So we have a concept within Dataflows Gen2 that's data extraction by example. And let's just watch it together.
By example, data extraction in Power Query provides a no-code, data-first, citizen user-friendly way to extract data from unstructured sources that is unmatched in the industry. Web by example allows users to easily extract data from web pages like the one we see on the left, where a matrix-style gallery can be turned into a tabular structure including connector names, publisher, categories, and products as columns. Using Power Query, customers can simply specify a few sample values for the data outcomes that they're looking for. For example, we'll extract a connector name. With just a couple of examples, Power Query will be able to apply a smart AI heuristics and extract the right data from the entire web page. In this example, we will also extract the category for each of these connectors, which can be done with just a single value, given at this point Power Query already understands the structure from this web page. Last but not least, we will also extract the list of products where each of these connectors in Power Query are available today. Once users get the desired data extracted from the web page, they can move forward with applying any other transformations out of the 300+ supported transforms in the Power Query editor experience, leveraging a highly visual, no-code experience that invites citizen users to achieve more with their data. In this case, we will just apply a group by operation to count the number of connectors by connector category. Text by example provides similar capabilities, allowing users to extract data from semi-structured text files. In this example, a text file contains customer records in blocks of 5 lines, where the first line corresponds to the company name, followed by the contact name, title, and contact details. Bringing this data into any most DI tools results in a single column import, which would be tedious to reshape and clean up by hand. With add table from examples, Power Query allows users to focus on the desired data outcomes and leave the complexity of data transformations to our AI logic. With just a couple of examples on the first 2 columns, Power Query is able to infer the right repetition pattern and extract the rest of the customer records from the file. From that point on, specifying new columns such as contact title is even easier. With just 1 sample value, Power Query gets the job done. Notice how, after landing in the Power Query editor, customers can see the full sequence of applied transformation steps to achieve these results. These steps can be further explored or customized by users and extended with any other data transformations. Like in this case, we're going to derive a new column based upon the contact name and title from this table using column by examples to generate a very particular format. Last name uppercase, comma, first name, and title in parentheses. It's just that easy to transform data using Power Query. And with highly visual capabilities, such as data profiling, users can immediately get a sense for the value distributions of their data. Users can leverage data profiles to understand value distributions on their data, address any quality issues such as missing or duplicated values, or simply exclude specific data values as needed for their scenario. In this case, we will just exclude any customers that have a contact title of owner.
And I think this highlights the best way or the best side of Dataflows Gen2 at once, is that in this whole demo, we extracted data from a web page. We extracted data from a text file that's only readable by a human, or understandable that what kind of sequence is happening within this file. But just by providing a couple of lines of words, so not code, without coding, you actually were able to extract data from a web page or extract data from a text file that was previously unable to be used within the platform. And I think it's powerful is that all users within the organization with a little bit of knowledge about the data that they're working with should be able to actually make this work. And there is one thing that makes it even
by example,
easier.
Data extraction.
That's the introduction of Copilot for Data Factory. And with Copilot, you get even more powerful tools available to you. With Copilot, you can chat with the Copilot and ask him to combine data or take action within the data flow in just talking way, which allows users to have a way more easier way to get started with Dataflows Gen2. So let's have a look at it.
Welcome to this overview of Copilot for Data Factory in Microsoft Fabric. In this video, we'll explore how to enhance your creativity and productivity when authoring Gen2 data flows. To begin, we'll use the Get Data experience, where we can search for existing connections via OneLake Data Hub or use any of the hundreds of connectors available today within Data Factory. After connecting to our source, we can browse available tables, views, and more to bring in the data that we need. Next, we'll use a starter prompt to gain insight into our query and any applied steps. For instance, in this example, we've learned that the source is Northwind and the rows have been limited to customers in the USA. Since we want to focus on orders and their details in this customer region, we will first join the two order tables together into a new query. A term like join, which is titled merge within Power Query, is easily able to be inferred. Now we'll limit our rows to only those where the ship region is in the USA to ensure consistency with our customers table. In the Copilot pane, the visual cues and titles on the cards, such as filter rows, are designed to help new or inexperienced users understand the keywords they can type or the buttons to click. After scrolling through and inspecting data in the data preview grid, we want to focus on the shipper name and regions and their total quantities. This results in a group by operation now being applied in a total sum of our quantity column. We'll now change the region name to abbreviation using a text input, and then update the query title in the visual diagram view. This ensures an augmented experience where simple tasks like renaming objects can still be accomplished with ease and based on the user's preference. Leveraging the power of Azure OpenAI, we can create a new query with state names, abbreviations, and Federal Information Processing standard state codes. In the past, this would have required us to open a new browser tab, search for a website with the supported HTML table, create a new query with the web connector, and then apply necessary transformations. But now, all of this can be achieved with a text input, increasing the author's overall productivity. Continuing to enrich our data, we'll join the FIPS table and the US orders table together into a new query. We can further shape our table by asking it to move column positions and perform tasks like updating all column headers to a more readable format by adding spaces with a single input. For many, updating column headers is a tedious task that must be performed one at a time, but is now possible in just a few words. And in this last example, Copilot will assist in creating a rich calendar table for us by applying over 20 steps. In the past, this would have required numerous clicks, but with Copilot for Data Factory and Microsoft Fabric, it's done with just a few words. We hope you've enjoyed this overview of how Copilot for Data Factory can be leveraged as an AI-powered intelligent assistant that helps you focus on the task at hand and accomplishing complex tasks with ease.
All right. I think this is one of those clear demos that you can see the benefits from Copilot coming to life, right? So with that step where you said, I want to get a list of all regions for the USA and the states and the abbreviations of those states. It's very easy thing for Copilot to come up with that data and import it within your data flow. You don't need to find the data source that has that information. You can actually ask Copilot for that public information and add that within your data flow and to join it into your data. And this is probably a more useful version of it. You also can ask it all the albums for Taylor Swift, for example, and the release date for those albums, and add that to the data flow, and it will work. Copilot knows all the albums Taylor Swift has released, so it can add that as a table within your data flow. It's very powerful. It lets you do a lot of new stuff within data flows, and I think if we go next, Eran will help you go further where you are right now. So if you're working today with Dataflows Gen1, I think Eran
Welcome to this overview of Copilot.
Help you with that,
Copilot
with rip-offs going forward. So Eran, floor is yours.
All right, thank you. All right, so in this section, I will share more about the upgrade pathways to Fabric Data Factory, focusing on how you can seamlessly and easily upgrade into using Dataflows Gen2. Next. All right, so you may also be coming from Power BI Dataflows, also known as Dataflows Gen1. And then here's a more detailed feature metrics of what is supported and what's not. So in general, most of the mainstream capabilities, if not all of them, are already supported in Dataflows Gen2. There may be a couple of exceptions of older features or deprecating or are recently deprecated within Power BI Dataflows, but there are also a number of net new capabilities, such as the VNet data gateways, output destinations, fast copy, and many more. So going forward, you can expect us to further innovate and enhance the Dataflows Gen2 capabilities. At the same time, we want to provide you with a seamless experience to jump on the Dataflow Gen2 wagon from other existing Power Query experiences and leverage some of these more powerful capabilities. All right, next. Cool. So there are several ways to upgrading Power BI Dataflows to Fabric. Since any existing query that you have created in Power BI Dataflows can also work well in Dataflow Gen2, the first pathway is to open your Power BI and simply copy the queries. Then in Fabric, you create a new Dataflow Gen2 item and just paste the queries in the Power Query editor. And that's it. You now have a Dataflow Gen2 with all the queries and transformations. Second pathway is using Power Query templates. So here, with a single click, you can export an existing Dataflow queries as a Power Query template file with a PQT extension. This can be done from Power BI data flows and also from Excel. Then in Fabric, you create a new Dataflows Gen2, and instead of manually creating all your queries, here you just click on the Import from Power Query Template option and select the exported PQT file. And that's it. All your queries are copied into your new Dataflows Gen2. All that is left for you to do is to provide the credentials to authenticate the connections to the data sources that were used in the data flow. Third option, which is actually not yet available but is coming soon, is the Save As Dataflows Gen2 experience. Imagine you're working with Dataflows Gen1 in Power BI, and with a single click on the Save As menu item of the Gen2 data flow, we're creating a new Gen2 data flow, including full copy of all your Gen1 queries. Then it walks you through the configuration of the connections, of course. So this Save As capability not only copies the queries, but also take care of other settings and properties of the data flow, such as incremental refresh, schedule refresh, sensitivity labels, and more. So these new capabilities will be released incrementally over the next couple of months. And all in all, we are really looking forward to helping you accelerate and simplify your upgrade pathway towards Dataflows Gen2 and benefit from all these latest and greatest new capabilities and innovation. Next. So speaking of latest and greatest features and innovation, let's walk you through the roadmap for Dataflows Gen2. All right. So before we start, I want to call out that we have a public Data Factory roadmap, and you can access it through the link above, the AKMS Fabric roadmap. It covers all the Fabric workloads. So if you want to find out more about Power BI roadmap or data science or data engineering, please check it out. And of course, we have a dedicated page for Data Factory that covers Dataflows roadmap and many more areas of data integration. All right. So as mentioned earlier, we recently announced public preview of incremental refresh for Dataflows Gen2. Next is Fabric SQL databases, both as source and destination within Fabric. This was also introduced recently, side by side with the overall public preview announcement for Fabric SQL databases. Dataflows Gen2 CI/CD, including the application lifecycle management or ALM and Git source control capabilities. This is also now available in public preview. You can try it out. Just create a new Dataflows Gen2, and you should see a new checkbox that will allow you to opt in to the CI/CD-enabled Dataflows Gen2 capabilities. Public API support to create, update, delete, and overall management of your Dataflows Gen2 artifact programmatically was also recently announced as public preview. What's next on the roadmap? So one of the, I think, top customer asks was runtime parameterization of Dataflows Gen2. Today, you are able to parameterize your data flow, but invoke them with parameters from, let's say, a data pipeline that you're using to orchestrate data flows alongside other activities. This is something that was requested by many of you, as seen in the ideas forum. So we're working on that feature and expect to share updates about the public preview with some initial capabilities over the next few months. Expanding output destinations is also a key area of innovation and investment going forward. One of the top requested new destinations is SharePoint files, CSV, and eventually Excel files. And we will also plan to expand to many more relational databases, not only within the Microsoft ecosystem, but beyond that, such as Snowflake and Teradata and many others in the future. So do raise your requests through the Fabric Ideas Forum, and we'll consider that in the future enhancements. The save as Dataflow Gen2 from an existing Dataflow Gen1. This is in the works, coming up really soon, aiming to simplify and streamline your upgrade pathway to Dataflow Gen2. We will also provide the quick and easy save as for existing Gen2 data flows as a new Gen2 data flow with all the new CI/CD and Git integration capabilities, all just in one click. Fast copy, as we saw, provides tremendous performance benefits, but we know that the scope of data sources supported is somehow limited. We plan to expand this to many more, like Snowflake, Lakehouse files, Redshift, Google BigQuery, and more. In general, any data source that is supported within the copy activity or the copy job in Fabric, you should be able to expect to see in Dataflow Gen2 in the future. Again, share your feedback on the specific sources that you wish to see, and it will greatly help us prioritize it. More capabilities and innovation is coming up in the AI and Copilot areas. We also plan to expand the diagnostic capabilities, enhancing the Dataflow Gen2 refresh history experience, where you can better diagnose and monitor previous executions of your data flows, whether they succeeded or failed. All right, next slide. So to close, I want to thank you all for joining us today. And thank you for your feedback on the product. This really helps us build a better product that serves your needs. And with that, I'll turn it back to Isabel, see if there are any open questions.
Thank you, guys. That was a very insightful question. We do have a question in the chat. I'm just going to pop it in here. Excuse me. So this question is, will there be an MS into Graph API source available as fast copy?
That's a good question. I don't think we have that currently on the roadmap for Intune. I think the best way to look at what kind of sources will become available is look at the roadmap for data pipelines for the copy activity. If you see any new destinations show up there for data pipelines, it should probably also show up for fast copy, following soon on the public preview of that one in pipelines. For MS Intune, I'm actually more wondering is what your use case is. I think there is not really a limit on our side to get data from this API, but it's probably you're throttled or limited on the other side of things with the MS Intune API. That the Graph API is limiting your request and therefore taking data out of that Intune API may take more time, and fast copy cannot help in that case, right? Because fast copy needs to use the same APIs to get the data out of Intune. But again, try to find us online on LinkedIn or anywhere else. We're more than happy to help you out with your question. Or actually, even better, look at the Fabric community website, where if you post any performance issues you have around the Intune API, there are other people and we will be looking at those questions as well to see if you can get your answer question there if you have issues with the performance for that connector.
Thank you so much. I think that was a really good answer. And the fact that you also gave them multiple options to stay updated was also really good. And 1 second, I'm just checking chat. Very informative session. Thank you all. I agree. It was very informative. Well, in that case, it looks like it is time to wrap up the session. Thank you guys once again for the very insightful session. I honestly learned a lot myself. And to our viewers at home, if you happen to miss anything about the session, This will be available on the Reactor YouTube channel in 24 to 48 hours. And like our speaker said, feel free to reach out to them on LinkedIn. They will be more than happy to connect with you and learn teach you guys a little bit more. And in just a second, I will pop in a little URL. And if anyone on our audience is happy to answer the survey so that our speakers can continue creating amazing content, that will be greatly appreciated. But in that case, thank you guys, and thank you to our viewers, and we hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
We strive to create excellent content and would appreciate if you could take a brief survey by visiting the URL aka.ms/reactor/survey and use the event ID 24416. Once again, the URL is aka.ms/reactor/survey and the event ID is 24416. Thank you all for joining us today, and we wish you all a wonderful rest of your day.